Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In Perek Chamishi of Pirkei Avos, the beginning of the fifth Perek goes on to mention different things that are connected with the number 10. And obviously the first one that should have been there when you think about the number 10 is the Aseres Adibris, and there's a long explanation from the Rebbe on this. But in the beginning, it speaks about the Asara Ma'amaris, that the Eibishter created the world, the 10 generations that are from Adam to Noach, the 10 generations from Noach to Avram, the 10 tests that Avram Avinu went through, the 10 miracles that happened in the Yidden and the Mitzrayim, and the 10 tests that the Yidden went through in the Midbar. A lot with the number 10. 10 things were created in Erev Shabbos Ben Hashmoshes, and then it goes on to the number 7. Now, the first couple, the Mishnah says what's important for us to know this. I mean, obviously, it's just not telling us a piece of history. There's some lesson, etc., to show how powerful the Yidden are. But when the Mishnah Zayin speaks about the 10 Nisim that happened in the Beis HaMikdash, now, the obvious question is, okay, we're going to read the 10 Nisim. It's fascinating. It's beautiful. It's all good and fine. Well, what does it have to do with me? How does it teach me in what way is it teaching me to be a better person? Obviously, every Nes, Hashem does not make a Nes for no reason. The Nes has to be there for a mission, for a purpose, to teach me something. So when you read these 10 Nisim, right away you should think to yourself, what's it telling me? And why 10, not 6, not 40? So let's go through some of them. There actually is, in the Ein Yaakov, in Masechta Yuma, where the Gemara goes on to say that perhaps there were more Nisim. For example, Makim Ha'arain Eina Min Amida, that we know that the Arain was made to size, yet it did not take up any space in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So there are many more miracles that are not mentioned that also took place in the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash. So when the Gemara has this discussion in Masechta Yuma Daf Chaf, so over there the Gemara actually Daf Chaf Aleph. So over there the Gemara the Pirush Anaf Yosef goes on to explain the lessons that we may learn from the 10 Nisim that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, and I'm going to explain some of them. So by us, the Mishnah says, Asar Nisim Nasal Aviseinu Beis HaMikdash, there were 10 miracles that happened to our ancestors in the Beis HaMikdash. Number 1, Lo Hipila Isha Meireach B'Sar HaKodesh. No pregnant woman ever lost her baby because of the smell of burning meat of the Kabbanas. Very, very nice, a beautiful thing. What does it teach us? Halachically, we know that even in the Hilchos Yom Kippur, it says that if a woman or somebody has a strong urge, he needs to eat, he's about to pass out, there are ways that we are allowed to break the fast. In this case, smell of B'Sar Kodesh, smell of burning meat, does have an effect. That it shouldn't have an effect is a miracle. So what does the Anaf Yosef say? What is the lesson for us? That a person who is studying Torah comes along and says, no, she'ena yachol lasik b'Torah. I cannot study Torah because there's a smell, there's this Baba Maisa, that Baba Maisa. It's hazardous for my health to study in this circumstance. Says the Mishnah, you should know, shebevadai lo yaveh l'dei sakana. If a person only does the right thing, nothing will harm a person when he's doing the proper mitzvah. Ayidei HaTorah. Kamoi, just like the Meuberes, this pregnant woman never became chas v'shalom sick from B'Sar HaKodesh. From doing a positive mitzvah, you will not get sick. Next, the next part of the next miracle that took place, v'lo hisriach B'Sar HaKodesh me'olam. The meat of the Kabbanos never became spoiled. What does that teach us? Says the Anaf Yosef, Ha'idiyah Bazer, that teaches us, Ki b'yad ha'adam, we know what it says in Pirkei Avos earlier. It says, Marba Basa Marba Rima, that after 120 years, when a person is buried, there's Rima v'Selea, there are worms. If a person wants to minimize that suffering, and a person wants to make sure that he shouldn't have any of that suffering. So it says, Biyad Adam, it's in the hands of a person, Shalei Ligraim, Shalei Yasriach, V'lei Yarvish. He could do the good things during his lifespan, and it will not affect, it will make sure that you won't get hurt after death. And that is the Besar HaKodesh. If you make your Basar Kodesh, it will never go through the process of his Sriach. The third thing, no fly, which is a great miracle. We're talking about a place that had non-stop carbonos. No fly was ever seen in a place where the meat of the carbonos was butchered. So over here too, says the Anaf Yosef, because the Beis HaMitbachayim is a Makom Kadosh, wasn't a holy place in the Beis HaMikdash, so too, a person who acts in the way of Kedusha, he won't either have any of these troubles. And he brings a raya from Elisha. It says by Elisha, the great Elisha, you'll never able to find a bug, a fly ever around where he sat. The next ness is that the Kohen Gadol never became Tamei and Yom Kippur. And actually there is a nice Chassidish shot which is brought in the Mefarshei Mishnah. For the Kohen Gadol not to become Tamei on Yom Kippur is a tremendous miracle. Because the holier the day is, and the holier the person is, the stronger the Yetzer Hara fights to make him Tamei. So if this Yetzer Hara is working overtime and with might to make him Tamei, it's actually a miracle that he doesn't become Tamei. So much so that even though Al Pi Halacha it says that we have to set a backup Kohen Gadol to be ready in case this one doesn't make it. In other words, we are concerned about different problems that might happen with the Kohen Gadol. Yet, it always was a miracle that the Kohen Gadol did not become Tamei. Says that Naf Yosef, a beautiful lesson. Even though we had a backup, Hashem was worried about the kavod, the honor, the respect of this Kohen Gadol. If he becomes Tamei, whoa, everybody's going to talk about him. Oh, his Tamei is not so special. So, to respect his honor, Hashem made sure he didn't become Tamei. If that's what Hashem does to a human, shouldn't we treat our fellow human the same way? And there no rain never put out the fire on top of the Mizbeach. The rain did not put out the fire on the Mizbeach. What's that miracle? The miracle is water and fire are opposites. Water and fire are opposites. Water is meant to extinguish fire. Yet, they came together and in harmony, they allowed the other to exist when you're in a matter of Kedusha. Obviously, so too, we have to know that we have to let each other exist. And Anaf Yosef says, some people think that, that I cannot do too much learning because Shal Yedei HaTorah I won't have Parnasa. Parnasa is symbolized in Geshamim. So Geshamim the rain usually extinguishes fire. Fire represents Torah. You have to know that you're never allowed for the rain, for the hustle or bustle of the Olam Hazard, the Parnasa, to extinguish Torah. Chas v'shalom. The Torah has to be the permanent, the stronger one, and you have to work to survive. The wind did not push away the smoke. The wind never upset the column of smoke that rose straight from the Mizbeach. What does that symbolize? Wind is a mighty powerful thing. It could uproot trees. It could push mountains. But if you stand firm, the Atzei HaMaracha, the Amud HaOshan, symbolizing what comes from the Mizbeach, your Yiddishkeit, nothing should be able to push it away. And it never happened that the Eimer and the two breads and the Lechem upon them never became invalid. Why? What does that symbolize? So pisul means something invalid, something that makes it bad. Your parnasa, you should make sure it should be be'amuna, no trickery, no gzela, because the lechem upon him symbolizes parnasa. Oimdim tzvufim u'mishtachevim revachim. And over here we also have a beautiful chassidish pshat. Oimdim tzvufim. When a person stands firm, it's stiff, it's tight. When a person, however, is mishtachvim, a person bows down, allows somebody else to exist, guess what? It becomes more space for you too. It never happened that a snake or a scorpion damaged somebody, hurt somebody in Yerushalayim. Now, Yerushalayim is right next to places where they're full of snakes and scorpions. It's a major miracle for that to happen. But Yerushalayim is a Makom Kadosh. If you make your place a Makom Kadosh, don't be worried about the Nachash. Nachash is the first Baal Aveira in the Torah is the Nachash. Don't be worried about the Yetzer Hara. Don't allow the Nachash, the Akrav, to overtake Yerushalayim. Last but not least, a person never said, Sarli hamakim sha'olam b'Yerushalayim. When you are in that mode of Yerushalayim, of Kedusha, there is always space for somebody else. Make sure there's always enough for somebody else in peace and harmony. And those are the 10 miracles that the Yidden survived by.